What's up, Scrappy peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and I've got a little 6x12 layout for you today. And I use this really cool thing that I found online, and it's called Best 9. And it's this cool website where you can just put in your Instagram handle, and it will find your 9 most popular or most liked photos on your Instagram feed. And I thought it would be really cool to make a layout of our Instagram top memories for 2017 and kind of have it like a reflective best moments highlights kind of layout. So these are screenshots that I took of my Instagram, Inkie Quill, Aaron's Instagram, Inkie Beard, and the Instagram that we have for pictures of Archie that we share with family and stuff called Inkie Bub. And you can find all the links, I think, in the description below. Pretty sure they're down there. And so what I decided to do is, because these photos were quite, although they're busy, they're quite white just in the surroundings. So I thought I could have a bit of fun with colour. So I grabbed some of my mist and water and did the packaging technique, which is so easy to do if you're starting mixed media. The trick is you've got to make sure you have water-soluble mists, like the Dilutions ones or the Tim Holtz Distress ones. They will react with water. If you have ones like the Heidi Swap Colour Shine, or Heidi Shine as I like to call it, it won't react with water and you won't get this effect. So I just used my used up journal then and put some of the extra ink, because there is a lot in that, so I can use it as an art journal background for next time. And now I'm doing the drippy droppy technique, which is where I just drop little bits of water on the mist, and because it is water soluble and it reacts and kind of, I like to say, it comes alive again when it meets water or liquid. It has this really cool bleached effect that makes it look like you've used a stencil in the background when really you've been lazy and just dripped some water over there. Now I'm going through my background stamps because it needed something else. I will admit I did accidentally do a little more packaging than I expected, and I did end up covering a little bit more of the page than I expected to, but that's all right. You just go with the flow. I'm using that old stamp. I think it might have been a really old Studio Calico one, and it looks like mesh, which is a really fun one to have. I'm using a white chalk texture here, which is my go-to white splatter pen, which is not clean, and it is effective, but it's not clean at all, and you get white stuff everywhere. I'm matting my photos on some white tissue paper because I didn't want to use pattern paper, because I didn't want to compete with the busyness of the photos, which are all of Archie pretty much, which I did and I didn't expect. I knew that I at least half of them would be Archie, but they're all Archie. And so it makes me laugh that there's way more likes on Archie photos on my scrapbooking Instagram than there are for my scrapbooking things. So I'm just adding a bit of tape and then peeling that off. I just use, like I've said before, the cheap one from Spotlight. Any double-sided tape will do. And then I did forget for a moment which side was up, which way was up and which way was down on my background. But the handy thing is that when you do a background like this and you use a very basic, I guess you could say, background stamp like that mesh one, it doesn't matter which way you flip it. So that's a little tip. So I've got my placement of my photos. When you're working with a 6x12 and multiple photos, you don't have a lot of wiggle room with where to put them. And I did originally have them all in one long column, but it was hard to differentiate where the grid of photos stopped for one Instagram account and when the next one started. And so I thought by kind of jostling them around and having one off to the side, it kind of draws your eye a little bit more. Using these old alphabet stickers from Amy Tan. Yep, Amy Tan. And I love them. I really wish they'd make a comeback in other designs because they're very handy. And my all-time favourite gold thickers, which I think I've used all of the T's now, which is not great because I seem to use a lot of T's on words. I don't know why. So I am running low on some of the words that I can spell. I've got to try and find them somewhere. So now I'm just using a food ball pen in, I think it's a 1.5, and I just put Instagram's best 9 because I know it's Instagram now, but it might be like MySpace, and in 10 years time there might not be any Instagram. I see that. It amazed me how MySpace just totally, I know it's still there, but just kind of vanished. If you were of the MySpace generation, let me know in the comments down below. If you had your top 8, oh God, I love MySpace so much. So now I'm just adding some puffy stars, and they're from Pink Fresh. And I thought by adding 3, I'm kind of doing 3 clusters, one next to each of the photos that I took, because that way one of the photos doesn't look left out and the other ones don't look too heavy. They all are balanced. Adding some teeny tiny little stars here. I need to try and find these again because I'm running low on those too. I've been really good with purchasing this year. I'm really trying to use up my stash and get rid of the half-used things that I've used my favorite bits, and now there are still nice bits left, but they just sit around and don't do anything. Let me know in the comments if you're trying to use your stash as well this year and any tips and tricks you've got for using it up. So I'm just stapling on this little tiny word sticker, kind of just because I like the look of staples, but also it was over that puffy star, and so I thought it could do with just a little bit of extra help. This is what I'm talking about with with the tiny word sticker sheets, that there's not this one particularly, but there's some of them where I've used probably 70% of the sheet, and then there's just 30% left over, and a lot of them are either joining words or phrases that are just not applicable to a lot of photos. You have to have a very specific photo for them, so I'm really trying to use them up. We'll see how I go in my struggle for getting through some of my stash. I don't think I have too big a stash when it comes to scrapbooking. The problem is with my scrapbook room and craft storage is that I have a lot of creative things that I do. So I have my scrapbooking stash, but then I have a lot of paints for painting canvases. I have a lot of art journaling supplies, and I know some of them do intermix, of course, but then I've got a whole heap of junk journaling things, and then I've got fabric, and I've got wool from when I was crocheting, and it just do a lot of crafty hobbies. Actually, that will be a really interesting thing to see. Let me know in the comments name all of the creative hobbies that you do. Name them all. Mine would have to be scrapbooking, project life, journaling, art journaling, painting, stationery hoarding. Does that include as a creative outlet? Maybe collage could go in there as well. So many different things. I'd be interested to know what yours are. I'm just adding a bit of a diddly border now that I've got off track with my chatting and voiceovering, and this layout's done. It was really quick and easy, and I can't recommend trying to use the best 9. I just googled best 9 to find it, and it's just a free website thing that I found that you can do this with. Alright guys, I gotta head off, but I will see you all in the next video. Don't forget to thumbs this up if you enjoy scrapbooking videos, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye!